Hi everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Ishi's Live Out Superstars with your best host. But before we get into our guest, I just want to let you guys know today will be more of a thinner type episode where we're going to be focusing on more EastEnders topics. So if you guys don't relate to this show, I guess this ain't really for you, innit? But I know that EastEnders is a big show that everybody likes to sit down and watch together and relate to and just to like get entertained. So obviously I'm one of those people that enjoy watching EastEnders for the storylines and for what it has to offer. And I feel like this will be a good way to get you guys' opinions on what we are going to be discussing today. So without further ado, we're going to get into this episode, and along with this episode, we're going to dive into our superstars guest today.
Yo guys, it's Hashim.
Welcome back, because originally obviously before the series started, we had a short TikTok clip
All the time. You're in a relationship if someone's lying all the time.
On our little podcast episode. So how is it to be officially not only back, but into my first podcast series?
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah. Good, yeah.
I'm excited too. And what are you feeling about today's topic on EastEnders? Are you
I feel
hyped?
like there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot going on, and I feel like, I don't know, like, EastEnders is my show, you know? I don't care what no one says, like, oh, it's boring, like, nothing happens. You're wrong. You're literally wrong.
Yeah, no, I mean, there is ups and downs with EastEnders throughout the years. I've been hooked onto it since I was like 4 years old, for much as I remember anyway.
Yeah.
So I guess like a lot of it has its features, but if we are diving into EastEnders, what makes EastEnders stand out to you compared to any other show?
I just think the storylines, like, the way that they sort of, the way that the characters, the way that they write the characters for me, and like all the drama that comes with it. And one thing that might be an unpopular opinion, I do like how they stretch out stories because it makes it more interesting sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Not for too long though.
No,
I think,
because some storylines like to drag when they don't need to. When it's done right, when it's saturated properly, I feel like that's when it can flourish.
Yeah, if you have a really good storyline but you finish it really quick after like 2 weeks, people are gonna forget about it. Whereas the Who Killed Lucy, for example, that went on for like years.
I can't lie, the Lucy Bill storyline, it was the best. Like, it actually went really good. And even though like I did want the killer to be exposed right away, I felt like for those that are being patient about it, it gives us more time to kind of like find our assumptions, look up our thoughts, and who it could be, who done it, and whatnot. And it just gave us more of an unexpected turnout, because it wasn't the suspects that we originally got our categorized.
It wasn't in the actual suspect lineup either.
No,
so
it wasn't. Like, Bobby Bill was actually like a circus-turning event.
But if you look at that compared to the whole who like bashed Cindy over the head, it's just completely different, because the Cindy thing no one cares about.
I feel like the difference with Cindy Bill and Lucy, obviously, mother and daughter, but obviously Lucy had a bit more of an iconic presence.
Yeah.
She definitely was a bit more known. She wasn't as hated, and I guess like at the same time, she was valued by Ian, her dad. So in a way, it's like some people were glad that she was gone, and some people were really sad that she was gone because she was someone's best friend or someone's sibling or relative. Whereas with Cindy Bill now, it's like she's always been toxic from day one, even from her debut series in the early 90s. She's always been toxic. So obviously for her to come back and remain her toxic ways, it obviously barricaded on the fact of she ended up getting herself.
And I know how a lot of people don't like Cindy, but I think I'm glad that they've written her the same way as they did when she was first on the show, because that's a character. She's a proper like bitch.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know what I mean? Like, a proper bitch.
She is a bitch.
And like, I was waiting for her to actually die at Christmas. I thought she was gonna get killed or whatever.
You know what? I feel like it was if she was to die, I feel like it would have been way too predictable because she already died for 20 years straight.
Yeah.
And then for you to fake your death, that's like what they did with Nick Cotton. He faked his death and then he came back and actually died. Like, if they was to just repeat that same story with...
And with Dan Watts as well.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, Dan Watts.
It's just too much now. It's repetitive.
Yeah.
And it's just like... It's old. Like, come up with something new, be creative,
But
be original.
though, she's just where is she right now? Because
What happened to her?
I couldn't remember.
She went away somewhere. Well, from what I last heard in the previous episode, she's went to say with is it Gina again? Geeta. The aunt of Cindy Jr.
Right. Is that her aunt?
I can't remember. I can't remember the relation
Is
to
that a
it.
friend or someone?
Yeah, but she went to stay with her, and then obviously because Peter mentioned that she went missing.
Yeah.
And
Peter gets someone else. Don't like him.
you know what it is? He gets on my nerves now, but also it's to do with the actor. You know what? Can we get into this before we continue about Peter's shit? Because who was the worst recast of EastEnders?
Michelle.
I hated that. I hated that so much because if it was somebody else, like a child or something, and you recast them,
child ones are minor.
child are minor because at least it's not like they're not really that known until they actually get a big storyline and want to change the actor and make them at least older and be more serious, adult-driven storylines. But with Michelle Fowler, obviously she was in from day one. And she was so iconic into the Bill and the Fowler family and everything. And then for her to come back later down the line, and it's not even the fact that the recast was anything like her. She looked completely nothing like the original Michelle.
I think if they actually recasted her, I don't think that's the biggest problem. I think what the problem was the fact that the storylines they gave her was so bad, and the show at that time was so bad.
That
they
showed
took Ronnie and Roxy off at the same time.
Oh, don't talk to me about that.
Literally, like it was
That was
going
the dumbest mistake
down.
ever.
Literally.
But I heard that they didn't have a choice to leave. They got axed.
You got axed.
The Ronnie and Roxy.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they were only going to act with Ronnie, and then the actress who played Roxy, she was, I'm not staying without.
Yeah, no, I mean, no, you can't stay with one or the other because obviously you know how they tried to do that with Ronnie almost died in that car accident.
Yeah.
And she was pregnant, giving birth or whatever, and then Roxy would have been on her own. Like it would have not worked if one Mitchell's sister.
Yeah.
Like they would have both needed to be gone.
Because they both came together. So
Yeah,
they both
exactly.
went
But with
together.
Michelle Fowler, it's like, yeah, like you've just said, she came back, and it wasn't even like it was anything related to her character. They broke her character completely because the original Michelle would have never done that. She would have never slept with
they
a
ruined the
minor.
character. They ruined
I
the
am
character.
so sorry. Like that's.
And I think that's why they're like so scared to bring her back.
Because I feel like if they were to bring her back now, and this should be recasted again because we can't get the actress back.
No,
I don't want her back.
No, I don't think she wants to come back. I think she said that she doesn't want to.
That's why the original Michelle.
Yeah.
That's why she got recasted because the original Michelle got contacted beforehand and she declined the offer. Same with Vicky Fowler who just came back.
Yeah, but Vicky, wasn't she only on the square for like a year?
Yeah, no,
it didn't really matter.
The original Vicky Fowler, she was on there for like 3 years. She was iconic.
Yeah.
She was actually very known. Obviously, like if you watched EastEnders back in the early 2000s, she was very. She had American accent. She was very like high school girl, getting up to all sorts of stuff. And I feel like that made her character peak as ever. And now for her recast, obviously, like she doesn't even sound the same. She sounds more British.
I feel like with the recast, I think it's just to do with the writing. Because with Chelsea, for example, completely different character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Completely different. I feel like I like Zara Abrams who plays her.
Yeah.
I think she's a great actress, and like I like the way she's playing her. But it's not the same Chelsea.
No,
it's a
not.
different character.
I think now, obviously, for I think again they're both phenomenal. They're both phenomenal actresses, and they have really good charisma and personalities. But yeah, they just literally will come across as different characters. They're not the same at all. You could tell the difference. And I mean, I know what they're trying to do with is Zara Abrahams coming on, right?
Is she?
She's the current Chelsea.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zara Abrahams. obviously, I feel like the way she tries to express her her attitude, she tries to mimic the old Chelsea.
Well,
But I feel like later down the line, she driven herself into her own character.
yeah. You know, one thing that I've noticed about EastEnders, like in the past few years compared to like how it was years ago, when they introduced characters like years ago, the impact they had was a lot better. Michael Moon was on the square for 3 years.
Yeah.
The impact he's had, whereas someone like Bernie or Vinny, they've been on the square for 5 years.
Vinny,
one single storyline I can remember.
Vinny is irrelevant to me. Like he's such a dumpster. He weren't
They should
doing
have killed him when they killed Nish 2 at once. Harsh, yeah, but like
No, you know what? They should have sent him to prison over Kirat.
Kira Armour.
Because Kirat was the best of the panels.
Yeah.
I think once Kirat went, that's when the family started to drop.
Yeah.
And then Ashneet left.
Yeah.
And then, you know what? If you guys even remember this, Jags.
Yeah, that was a weird one because they brought him in to be funny as if he was some beat.
He was comic relief, and then they
just
sent him
killed
to
him. Why did they kill him in prison?
I really thought because he got killed off screen, they never actually showed the death. So when he got killed off screen, I actually thought that he faked it, or they just did it to like scare the family or something.
Yeah,
but
that's
he's
what I
actually
thought.
gone.
Yeah, I thought they were just doing that to like
And
pretend.
you know what frustrates me about that as well? Habiba, because they had children together.
Yeah.
First of all, I never actually, I've seen them slowly become likable to each other before getting sent away, but I never actually saw their relationship properly fleshed out.
Yeah.
And then the baby comes.
That was
the baby
weird.
came to the square, but not Habiba.
But that's when the show was sort of like on a bit of a weird level. Like it wasn't the best.
Yeah.
It was that was a dark time. The whole Grey storyline. It was like going through the trenches watching that show.
Oh,
I was like, guys, it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. It was
No, it wasn't. It was not. Speaking of storylines, what is your favorite storyline and what's the worst storyline? Let's start with your favorite.
whole of the show favorite.
Or for as much as you can remember, because I don't expect you to know every single one dot by dot.
You know what? The first one where I've like properly got into it was actually the Lucy one, the Who Killed Lucy. But after I started watching it, I went back to old episodes to watch it like properly.
Okay.
And even like the whole Who Killed Archie, that was like Archie Mitchell.
That was my first favorite storyline. With Archie, the Archie Mitchell stuff. Stacey killing Archie.
And Max and Stacey's affair.
Oh,
as well.
that was the first storyline that I've properly invested myself into.
Yeah.
Because that's when Lauren obviously played the tape, and that's so ironic how Lauren did that 2 Christmases.
Yeah.
Like did it with the Bill family. No, did it with Cindy, played the tape of her and Junior's affair, and now did it with Max and Stacey's.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was iconic to me. I feel like that's what started EastEnders off for me properly. Like the whole Max and Bradley fighting.
And another one, it's not really a storyline, but it's more on the whole Masood era, the Masood family. Well, I don't know if it's just because they were Muslims, I'm Muslim, I don't know. But when they were on the square, it was just the drama that they brought with it. It was just like, it was so sick to watch.
I feel like each member of the family had their own story arc to conquer. Like Zainab was being abused. I don't really know what Masood had much of. Saeed came out gay with Christian.
Yeah.
And then, what's his name? Tamwa.
He had a
Tamwa
thing
had
with,
the...
what to Tamwa? He was with Afia
Yeah.
for a bit, and he had like little stories.
I think Tammy's one was the weakest a little bit because he had like little mugs story. He got mugs a little bit and stuff, and then he had a change of attitude of, I think, university. He confronted his dad or said that you're a bad father and a Muslim, and he punched him in the face.
If I punched my dad in the face,
Don't talk about my dad. Have you seen my dad? My dad, he's 30 times sizer than me. 30 times so bigger than me.
But to be fair to Tamwa, his dad was on a madness. His dad was drinking in the pub. His dad was sleeping.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. He wasn't really abide to his religion like that.
To be fair, Tamwa, I think, was one of the best Muslims out of the family because he wasn't like he had his head screwed on.
Yeah.
Like he was with Nancy for a bit, but like before that, he was actually alright. But like Shabna,
they went together, him and Nancy.
Yeah.
And then Nancy came back, and then I really want to know what happened with that, like their breakup, because.
I think she said that Tamwa wanted kids, but she didn't.
Oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, forgot about that. And then Sagnan, she had the most impactful storylines from being pregnant, not being able to have the baby because the baby died.
Crazy.
So sad.
crazy.
And then what's it called? That girl that came back, Jade. She
her
had
daughter,
Jade. Yeah, her
yeah.
daughter Jade. That she kept a secret for like over 10 years.
How
could you keep
let's
a
think
child?
about this in our real life here. How does one manage to keep a whole pregnancy?
And you're a child as well, because she definitely had the child when she was in school.
So did she where did she give birth? I'm really confused from that storyline.
I really want to know, how does that shit work?
Well, I think someone in her family knew and like set up an adoption, but like if surely in a Muslim family you wouldn't go to your auntie and say you're pregnant. They would obviously they'll tell your parents.
Yeah.
Realistically, who wouldn't?
No, but
You know?
I don't know. Like, if he was to, I'm not a girl, but if he was to like hide a pregnancy, like, first of all, you're gonna get big. Like, if especially if you're like a slim girl, and like she was, like, what? Hiding putting a jacket on, especially if you're pregnant in the summer. Like, how are you gonna cover that up? How do you know when the baby's gonna come? Like, you can't always guarantee your baby's gonna come on time because babies are premature.
But how do you keep that like a secret your majority of your life?
You would have had to tell somebody.
And then like, because didn't her dad just like storm and be like, "Where you?"
Unless she had a lack of care by her family, where she had to like go somewhere
To be
else.
fair, maybe it might have been when. I was gonna say it might have been when Saeed was on the square, but when he was on the square, Shabnam wasn't. So it might have been before that.
What? I don't know.
Because I was gonna say because obviously Saeed came out as gay, which is obviously not, you know.
Yeah, in the part of Muslim culture.
So what if she got pregnant at the same time? The family was a mess actually. So
Yeah,
it
it
sounds
was a
loud,
mess,
it's actually
because
bad.
she got pregnant. She got pregnant, left, and then came back. No,
Yeah. And then
but I don't know the time duration. It just
I don't know. I might look at that.
just
after,
look at
'cause
I
I'm
have to do
kind
my
of
research.
confused.
I have to do my research.
Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like another good storyline that I actually really enjoyed and I was invested in at the time was Lauren's alcohol storyline.
I was watching that.
That was actually it didn't even remind me of anything, but I was so invested in that.
Because this is what I like about EastEnders. They show real life, but it's not just the alcoholic. They showed Abby's like how that affected Abby in her exams. It showed Tanya, showed Matt, it showed Oscar as well.
Oh yeah,
It showed
Oscar was
everyone.
affected.
It showed
Oscar was badly
everyone.
affected by that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was crazy, and I feel like obviously like it was really good to show the impact of that family because Lauren was to blame for a lot of failures that was happened at the time, and she played her drunk storyline very well.
Yeah.
And I know that went on for years on end.
Yeah.
Like that took me about 5 years to like get over.
Because do you know who I blame for part of her alcoholism? Lucy Veal. She at the start of the her game.
She encouraged it because they used to go out, get drunk all the time.
She was like because Lauren was like, "Oh, just a lemonade." She was like, "Oh, can you stick vodka in there?"
Yeah,
and then
she was
I
bad
was
influence.
like-
Lucy was Lucy was bitchy for that.
They were like best friends, but like enemies at the same time. Like, oh, I don't. Honestly, when Lucy was killed, I thought part of me was like, what if Lauren did it?
Yeah.
Like, what if she killed her best friend? Cause
That's what I would have thought. Like killing your best friend is, but towards the end of the journey, if you've had a falling out or something, I thought again it would have been Peter because the jealousy. Because I remember Peter mentioning how obviously. He obviously was the least favorite child. Because remember, right the night before Lucy died, Ian said to Lucy, "You're the one. I like you the most. You're my favorite child." And Peter heard. So obviously Lucy had the most attention, and Peter was always on the side, like always on the sideline.
And with Peter as well, because I saw some people say, why didn't they just kill Peter off? I feel like Peter's not that interesting. Lucy was always the most interesting.
Yeah, I remember Lucy had more appearances than Peter. Like Peter kept leaving and coming back. Even though Lucy left briefly and then came back, she died afterwards. But Peter, he spent literally like 10 years leaving the square and coming back, leaving the square and coming back. You know what bothered me about that as well? Every single time he left and came back, he would always be recasted. Like, you know what? I'm glad Thomas Law is back, but it's a little too late. Because Thomas Law, his current actor, he was the teenage actor back in the early 2010s. And then he got recasted to Ben Hardy, my favorite actor of all time, by the way.
Yeah.
Of Peter Bill. He was the best Peter Bill. I think after Dale Hudson, the one before he got recasted again, when he became like a prick for a while.
Yeah.
You remember that Peter Bill?
Because didn't he steal from Kathy?
Yeah, he stole from Kathy and he slept with Suki. That Peter Bill slept with Suki.
That one is.
Confused me. He slept with Suki and Ashley.
That is.
I don't understand that.
Because think about it, Suki said with Peter Bill.
Yeah.
Imagine thinking, like in 2013 when Ben Hardy was playing him.
Yeah, that Peter could never.
That is
he would
mad.
not even stoop to that level of Suki
Like,
Punisher's niche.
I love Suki, yeah. Nothing, not coming for Suki, but like that's Ash's mom.
Yeah.
You know, he was.
Nah, imagine your mum already knows that you're seeing somebody and then you're sleeping with your child's partner, boyfriend, girlfriend.
I mean, I think Suki was just experimenting. She didn't really know what she was.
No.
She was like.
But she did that to obviously like test Ashley's patience.
Yeah.
But
I think that's why she wasn't really happy with Ash being biased because she was also the same.
yeah, because that's when Suki slowly started to come out.
Yeah.
But I definitely, personally for me, I think Peter Bill, he should have stopped at the one before this. Like, he shouldn't have been recasted again. Because you got to remember as well, when you're recasting somebody and you're making them grow up throughout a soap, they have to grow up and develop, like, physical-wise and mental-wise.
Yeah.
With, obviously, Ben Hardy and Dale Hudson, they both look similar to each other. Dale Hudson became taller and muscular, more muscly, because they were both muscular. Just for Thomas Law to come back and he's skinny.
Yeah. But like.
Unless he went through some training gym arc or something and told them, oh yeah, make you lose weight or something.
It must be hard to be a recast though, because it's like you can't go back to the scenes and then act the same because people would be like, you're just copying that actor.
No, exactly.
So how do you sort of do your own acting, but it's just
And
character that everyone knows.
it felt off with the Vicky thing the other day when Vicky and Sharon was arguing with each other. I'm like, but this doesn't feel like the Vicky that I'm watching.
Yeah. Even though it's been like years since she's been back, it just feels like a different character.
I feel like the only one I can make an exception of is Penny. Because Penny obviously...
She was a kid when
she was a kid when she wasn't there, and then she left as a kid, like, whatever. Then she came back, recasted. But do you know these things I don't understand with female recasts? Why would you change their hair color? First of all, you're a blonde child, and you're recasted into a brunette.
Yeah.
Okay, say you dyed your hair or something. What's her name? Louise Mitchell?
Didn't she have brown hair when she was a kid?
Dark. She had like light brown hair, dark blondish, and then she came back with platinum blonde as a recast. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have a problem with that. She is the best. She's my favorite all time. What's her name? Tilly Keeper, fittest girl of all time. Of EastEnders. Bring her back. She needs to come back.
Yeah.
If she comes back, she needs to
her.
I'm so glad that Bex came back.
I don't know, but Bex.
Not as a recast.
I don't know what it is about Bex, yeah, but I think because she's Sonia's daughter, she just reminds me of Sonia too much, and I'm just like, I don't know, she's just annoying sometimes. So I'm hoping that like she's a bit more better this time.
I mean, she's only here for a short stint.
Yeah.
She ain't gonna be here. I feel like they're gonna make her very mature.
Yeah.
And not do really much with her.
You know who I think two of the best female recasts are in the whole of the show?
Go on.
The first one, which I didn't know was a recast till like a few years ago, Peggy Mitchell and Lauren Branning.
I didn't. Yeah, the Peggy Mitchell one.
Yeah, she's a recast.
Yeah, because Barbara Windsor. Yeah, she was a recast because she appeared as somebody else.
Because she was that good, I didn't know she was a recast till I actually like.
But do you know what I find? Okay, that's good. But do you know what didn't make sense to me about the Peggy recast? Cool, she debuted as somebody else in the first year of her series debut, but then Barbara Windsor gets recasted later on down the line, and she's iconic. But when they did the Mitchell flashback storylines, they made Peggy's flashback character look more like Barbara Windsor than the previous one before the recast.
I think the one before the recast, she wasn't in it for that long.
She didn't. No, but she did and that's what I'm saying. She didn't have the wig. She just had natural nappy hair.
I don't know, because
and they gave her the wig in the storyline flashback.
I've only seen like one clip of the like. What's it called?
Yeah, I mean, she's probably not as she's not remembered like that. So I guess it makes sense. Who did you say the second recast was? Lauren Branning. Yeah, Madeline Duncan, the one before Jacqueline Josser. Like, they're both stunning.
They're both really good, yeah.
beautiful. And like the original one, she gave me Owl City vibes. Like, no, when Jacqueline Joshua came back as a recast, the way her hairstyle was on her first scene, it gave off Owl City, the band.
You know, she got so much hate when she first came to the show.
Why though?
Because everyone was like, oh, we used to recast, like, not like bring the old Lauren back. And now years later, everyone's like, oh yeah, we love this Lauren. Like, people switch up so easily.
I forgot Lauren was a recast until like I looked back years later and she wasn't the same one.
Yeah, but to be fair, they don't look that different. To be honest. Like,
I mean, the only difference is they made Lauren Jack and Lauren taller with the previous one, whereas the other one was the same height as Abby.
I always say in the recast though, like, do they ever like, I don't know, watch some scenes or like would like?
I'm sure they must do. They have to look back.
If I was playing a character and then I left and someone played my character, I'd be a bit like, oh, like,
yeah, no,
you know.
If I ever won on the show, I can't be a recast. I'm sorry, no one can replace me.
Yeah,
I am the one. I am the original.
Who do you think you'd play? Well, I'm asking you the question. You should be asking me, but like,
you can ask me the question.
Like, who do you think like you'd play or like you'd audition for?
I would, if any character came on the show, well, for the current characters right now.
Yeah.
You know what? If I was really honest, I would probably be a new character because I don't look like anybody from EastEnders. Actually, no, I would say one, just because this recast was stupid. And when I mean by stupid, as in racial stupid. No, Jordan Johnson.
Lucas's son.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they made him light skinned. He was dark. He was bleak.
And they killed him as well.
And that too.
I don't know why they killed him.
Why did they turn a black guy mixed race?
That was, but to be fair, Joyvan, is that his name? Joyvan Wade? Don't know if I pronounced that right.
The one that recast one.
Yeah, he's actually a really good actor. So
yeah,
maybe that's why.
Story and stuff.
Yeah,
but like, he shouldn't have been in EastEnders just for that sole purpose.
Because he's the same, like he's light skinned like Keegan is.
Yeah,
that's like bringing Keegan back for Jordan.
But I don't understand. Like, that's what I mean by like off recasts. Because you're changing a whole different color. You come from a dark-skinned family, and you're turning him pretty much almost white. Yeah. And I bet I would have had to do. I would have had to take in the recast.
And I bet if you went into the audition room, there's gonna be someone who looks a lot more like Jordan.
Yeah, I would have said, I didn't look as much like Jordan, but like I'm almost as dark as him. Yeah. So like I would be able to work.
Because I think if I was to come to this show, I don't know.
You could be, what's the guy? What's the baby? Well, he's obviously cleared up now. The one that Masood had, the last child.
Oh, what's his name? Camille.
Yeah, you could be Camille. You could be Camille.
Bring Camille back.
Yes, you could be Camille.
16? I don't know, 15, 16.
Because he was born in 2011. Yeah, so he would be like, and because obviously you're older than him, like,
yeah, better storylines.
You could come off as the younger person.
Yeah. I was gonna say either him or maybe a part of the Panesar family, but they're all so good looking though.
Yeah, no, I feel like you could be part of the Panesar family.
It's not Vinny though. I'm not being a recast of Vinny, no way.
No, not Vinny.
I was thinking, actually no, Nugget.
You could recast Nugget.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make people like Nugget. Yeah. Because no one likes Nugget.
Let's talk about that. Before we talk about that, face the brand, turn your background. There we go. Right. It would be, who is your worst child actor of all time?
In the show?
I'm going to say Nugget. I'm going to start with Nugget. Okay. He pisses me off. He's just jarring. He just swinges so much for nothing. Shut up.
I'm trying to think of this one properly. I'm trying to think in the past as well what child characters have just got on my nerves. Do you know what? Not all the time, but sometimes Alexi really gets on my nerves. Sometimes.
Why do people hate on Lexi?
So it's just sometimes. I don't know. I think
Lexi. You know what? I feel like people hate on Lexi because she is the most mature.
I think
she's the most mature child.
I think it's because Ben's her dad, and I don't like Ben. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, but she doesn't like Ben.
Yeah.
She better. Oh, that's another thing. She better not be recasted. Just keep her how she is now.
Because she's been on the show for quite a long time now as well.
Yeah, she probably been the longest child actor. Because she came, obviously, like, she's been on the show for like nearly 8 years, I think, or more than that.
Yeah.
And I feel like she definitely could come across.
Well, fair.
Yeah, so just made her perfect. She's not She has Lola's feistiness,
Yeah.
but she is still well behaved. She deals with things so maturely for a 12-year-old little child.
But they do treat her like a baby though.
And they need to stop doing that because
Like in one of the episodes, they were like, "Oh, do you want another hot chocolate?" Like, isn't she what,
no,
12?
like, she's like in secondary school.
yeah.
She turned 13 this summer. Like, I just feel like if they were to recast her now, I feel like they would ruin the character because they will try and make her, because that's what they do with all the children. All the little kids, they're quiet, they have no purpose, they're just little one-liners, and then when they get recasted, they become really behaved or bad. First of all, Tommy, they just turned him abusive. Why?
Yeah.
I'm gonna get into that later. Lily Slater.
Quite good though. I think.
She's quite good, but again, like her actresses were so different. Like the little child actress, she looks more malicious than she looks proper like white.
Yeah.
And then they turned it into a proper chavvy white Essex.
Do you know what I think? What was I gonna say? Yeah. Like it's been a while since like a young child actor on the show has been on the show till from a kid to then
now,
adult.
like-
Just think like Tiffany, Sonia. You know, they were quite young.
Yeah, Tiffany was like 6 or 8 when she came on the show, and she literally stayed on there until like in the early 20s.
Do you know what? That's a flex.
We
That's
love
actually
that.
a flex. Like
We actually love that. Like nobody can do it better than NFI.
and no flipping.
You're not
invited.
flipping invited, mate. You're not flipping invited.
She are dotty though.
I like, you know what? The Dottie recast is actually really good as well.
I feel like they could have done so much more with her though, because she was so nasty before when she was a kid. But I feel like when they brought her back, they just did like normal like cheating on like your
No,
friend.
they made her nasty as well. She stole from Dot.
She slept with Keegan,
I feel like
but I feel like they could have done a bit more. Like I don't know, like scam a man and like kill him. I don't know, like a dotty.
I
thing,
feel like she should have done something murderous.
Yeah, because she needed.
But it's good. It's kind of good. It's good that not every child has to turn out like their parents, because sometimes we can break the barrier. It's not every minute their child has to turn into their parents. Like Lily turns into Stacy, Lexi turns into Lola. Who else is another example? Tommy turns into Michael, and that's the habit they do with the EastEnders kids. Why do they turn their recasted children into their villainous parents?
But Tommy's nothing like Michael though, because Michael would never have done like that stuff to Kat that Tommy would have done. Michael actually really liked
He abused Janine.
Did it? He didn't abuse her.
But they both abused each
He
other.
was
But
gonna try kill her.
exactly, I feel like Michael was nasty. He strangled Ginny in one episode. He pinned them up on the wall and like whatever.
Yeah, he had hatred for her. He wanted to have
Absolutely.
blood.
So Tommy could end up doing that to Kat.
Do you think Tommy's actually talking to an AI, or do you think he's got someone on the other end?
You know what? Partially me. I always thought. Well, first of all, I thought it was Theo that he was talking to. But I feel like anybody else, he would be talking to an actual person. But AI took me off guard.
Imagine it's Zoe.
I'm sorry.
Could you actually imagine?
Oh,
I don't think they'd be bold enough to do that. though, to bring her back, because I don't think.
well,
they'd
he
be
was
fast.
bold enough to get Scarlet out of nowhere.
That was weird. That was random.
Where did Scarlet?
was
How on earth did he come in contact with
I
Scarlet?
swear she just turned up out of nowhere and she was like, "I'm Janine's daughter," and I was like, "You've got glasses. You're nothing like Janine." I was like, "What?"
No, the Scarlet casting was weird.
Janine's daughter has so much potential, yet she looks like something from a CBBC show.
I said this. She looks nothing like Ginny. She acts
She looks like
nothing
she'd be
like.
the dumping ground in the nicest way.
No, yeah, she looks like she could be on any other show but EastEnders. She does not look like she comes from Janine.
Janine and who's her dad? Michael.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That mix can't beat her.
Literally,
Like again, sometimes it's good to have a different child.
yeah. I mean, she was annoying though. She was annoying. Scott.
Yeah, she was just snitcher, just a little snitchy. Oh, stop it! Hey,
Yeah, it was mum driving the car. Like,
yeah,
why
it
are you
was
making
mommy.
your...
Oh my god, I'm serious. Imagine ratting out on your mum like that. I mean, to be honest, sometimes it's good to you always kill your flipping child.
Yeah.
But you're getting yourself involved in a family dilemma that isn't your business.
But to be fair, Shirley knew that she knew something. She was trying to get out of her.
Yeah.
Shirley killed me.
That's made me laugh because after Shirley obviously was pressurizing her to come out and say all of this stuff, and then obviously after Mick's disappearance, Shirley was grieving. She's told Scarlett to get out. After you weren't the one that perpetrated the whole thing in the first place. I don't understand that.
Well, Shirley is just a character that you cannot change. You cannot like
And why is she not
replace.
back yet? Dean
Why
has
is she
been
not
back. Dean Wicks has made a whole cameo, a whole appearance, had a whole storyline again and everything.
I thought she was gonna come back then, but she didn't. They should have brought her back then. Wasted opportunity.
Because no, you know what? Because that story has been left like like
Yes.
open.
What happened with
Because Shirley, right? There's no way after she stood up to Dean and everything and sent him away, for him to come back and then for him to tell Linda, oh yeah, we've been in contact. Shirley needs to come back and explain herself.
I think maybe
she needs to come back and explain herself.
Maybe they were planning on bringing her back, but then the actress maybe couldn't do it.
Maybe.
That's the thing I can think of. But with the whole Dean and Six storyline, is he in prison for the murder, or because didn't Nish say he did it?
He was in prison.
No, he's in. I think
He was in prison for the aid for Linda.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
because he is. Yeah, he was for the Linda one because obviously he didn't have any evidence on killing Keanu, but then he admitted in court about the aping.
Yeah.
So that obviously became.
Because what do you think about the whole Six storyline?
You know what? That's the best storyline that we had in years.
Yeah.
When it was advertised, we spent a whole 10 months.
It was that
like
whole time
figuring out who's gonna be the killer of, who's going to be the dead body.
Yeah.
After that, I just lost all focus.
Yeah, I think.
I feel like the Keanu hiding his body dragged out for way too long, and it just broke a lot of characters. Like making Linda a murderer, I get it, she done in self-defense. Which obviously turned to her alcohol storyline. Understandable. But then Kathy's involvement in all these stuff as well makes no sense.
I wish Kat was in the Six.
Kat should have been. I would have taken Kat over Kathy.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, before we continue, cheers. For the Six storyline, who would you have preferred to get in? In like over the original Six cast we had?
Who'd I change out the
Yeah,
Six?
who would you change out?
Okay, I'll put Kat in definitely. I'm not gonna like swap them for who, but I'm just gonna say anyone that comes into mind.
I'll get Kat in. I think
Can we do past characters?
we could.
Okay. If it was past characters, I think Tanya would be quite good if she was part of the Six.
Yeah.
Tanya was like.
Yeah, Tanya's been in good storylines. I think Kat would have been a good one. I think Karen should have been in it.
Do you think? I can't see
No,
that kind of
she's not. I mean, she's big, but she's not that much
Yeah.
to serve.
I was gonna say Janine would be quite good
Janine, obviously, that's standard.
because she's normally the one doing the killing. So imagine if
Yeah. I feel like we need to do the Six based off someone who isn't capable of killing somebody.
it's actually a hard one, you know. But I think someone who wouldn't be capable of doing something like that. Thing is, my mind just goes to like either the kids or like a teenager.
Yeah.
But I think Whitney. But then again, she has killed before.
Yeah. But Whitney being in there would actually help.
Because I think Whitney, she understands people a lot. I think.
Yeah.
Like, she's not selfish at all. So I think if Whitney was in that situation,
Yeah, I think.
because amount of trauma Whitney has.
But then again, Stacey's been in it,
Yeah.
and she's killed it before. So like,
That's why I didn't think it would be Stacey, just because she's already killed Archie in the Vic already. But I thought it was gonna be Denise.
yeah, I thought Denise would have been capable.
It's good. I feel like with Denise. Okay, let's see who like out of all like characters who's been through like the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
You know, one person comes to my mind, and I'm always gonna defend this person, Ronnie Mitchell.
Yeah.
Mitchell, the stuff they put her through is actually diabolical. Like when you actually think about it, it's so messed up.
she actually went through the most diabolical shit. Like, how many she been abused constantly
by her dad, her own father. You know, like
imagine being abused by your dad. Like,
and no one believed her.
disgusting.
No one believed her.
And that's even the worst thing about it. And she was obviously pregnant before, like
Yeah.
originally before before all the other kids came, she was pregnant, and Archie obviously pushed her, caused her to miscarry.
It's been 16 years since Danielle died.
Oh my god.
That whole storyline. Because I feel like them killing her as soon as they find out that that's her daughter is the most EastEnders thing to do.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like they just wanted it for shock value, but at the same time, I kind of agree with it.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't kill Danielle and then she got to be with Ronnie, it's just going to be happy.
Oh, that was another thing I remember from Daniel's storyline. That was really heartbreaking to watch. I watched that storyline over and over and over again. And it was really sad. Like,
yeah, you know, people are like, oh, like EastEnders is all doom and gloom. Like, it's actually meant to be. You know, it's that kind of show.
Yeah, and it's scary to think, like, imagine not only being your dad, but he's your granddad.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like, imagine being your dad and you having the same person be your dad and your granddad.
It's Danielle.
Yeah. No, was it?
No, Danielle's dad was.
No, Danielle's dad was someone else, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh. No, because Archie.
No, I think Archie, obviously he abused Ronnie, but he wasn't the father of the baby. I think he just gave her away and said that she died.
Yeah.
What was his problem? He had beef with her for no reason. What I don't understand is why he was so, like, he was like that with Ronnie. With Roxy, he was the complete opposite.
He was like treating Ronnie like, he was treating Roxy like the golden child for everything.
I don't get that because, like, she's still a girl. Like, if she was a boy, I can't understand because she's a sick character.
I think it was because Roxy would always obey. She always seemed like the obeying type to Archie, whereas Ronnie should always fight or challenge everything.
Yeah, but I think Ronnie is just one of the most complex, one of the best characters.
Yeah.
They did it dirty. Why did they kill her like that?
Like, after everything she's been through, like, give her a happy ending. Give her a happy ending.
Or like, just let her like leave and like, I don't know, go to
at least dude. Either break up with Jack or leave with Jack and then come back and break up off screen.
We need to talk about Jack's downfall though. He's fallen.
Yeah, before we get out of here, because Jack Branning needs to be addressed for the crime, not even the crimes, just for the annoying. He's my worst character today.
If he died, I wouldn't care.
He should have been the dead body on the 6th because the way he's treated everybody, he's been so nasty. Yeah. And now let's talk about current storyline of Barney.
That was
disgusting, but I loved it.
Was sick, guys.
I loved it. I loved the acting. I feel
like that's what she needed, like a breakthrough moment for her because she's not really.
Because I feel like she's never actually had a proper focused storyline like that. Yeah, and obviously coming from two parents that have had dark stories with obviously Ravi and Priya, like. It's good to finally have Barney exposed to that type of stuff for her to raise more awareness.
And she got
to herself
as well. I think she got.
Yeah, she got 3 districts in a row.
Yeah, that's sick.
That's a strike. That's a 3-man striker.
Before that, people used to be like, oh, she's a bad actress. She proved them wrong.
Absolutely.
You know? Like she's actually really good.
I'm so glad that they finally given her a chance to like have this type of story because now it will give her a chance to understand, get more depth of herself and her parenting.
Yeah, because
the parenthood of like her house is just like really dismantled at the moment. Priya literally treats her like she's her best friend.
Yeah,
like also, no mother and daughter should be able.
What I do like is the way that they've not just done that and then left it. She's now taking drugs, so we know that there's going to be more to come.
Yeah, like exactly. Like she's been impacted.
Yeah. I saw some people say she's a bit like Lauren when Lauren was a teenager. I don't know if it's just because she grabbed the vodka bottle and now they're saying she's like Lauren, but
no.
I kind of see it, or a bit like Whitney maybe.
Maybe Whitney would be more relatable to Barney a little bit.
All the sad storylines that they're gonna give, I can feel it.
But I definitely feel like it was good that she called her mum out on her parenting. Because I just thought Avani was going to leave that for weeks.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that got dealt with straight away. And then at least now they can work with it together. Tell your mum, you're a bad parent, you're a slapper.
That was mad.
Oh my God. That's the first time I've seen them two argue. And that's the first time I've seen Avani actually like emotionally get damaged and affected.
Yeah.
But do you think though Amy was in the wrong? Because I don't understand like this Amy grasping her up. I have to understand from both perspectives because Amy, right? she obviously got pressurized by her dad. Her dad is a copper.
If you've got Jack Branning as a dad, blame him because
I would just honestly, if my dad was doing that constantly to the point that he would break up friendships,
but
I'd
he's
do
just
so- I'd
paid.
sue him.
He doesn't like Ravi, so he's taking out on Ravi's
Exactly,
kids.
but why can't? I mean, honestly, Amy could have just moved out. Honestly,
Isn't she like what 16 yet, or I don't know?
she is 16 now. She
Yeah.
got to be 16 because she was 14 2 years ago when she got recasted.
Yeah.
I remember her and Lily are 2 years apart. Lily
Are
is, yeah, because Lily is.
Oh yeah.
Lily got pregnant at 12, had her baby at 13. She's
Yeah.
now 14, gonna be 15 this year.
Talking of Lily, we've got to speak about Martin. Martin's death.
Yeah, because
Oh my God.
that can't go unleft.
For the 40th, I was like, I feel like they did that right because they didn't have a big story for the 40th. So they
Yeah, they
wanted to
ran
create a
out of
big
ideas. They
character.
clearly did that just to run out of ideas.
Yeah,
That was bad.
they
I
needed
mean,
a
I
big
hate
shot.
it. They needed shock value, especially with the cast that they have at the moment. It wouldn't have. I mean, Alfie, his cancer, he could have died.
But what happened with that? It's like
That's got forgotten about.
You know, I feel like Alfie Moon back in the day when he was a landlord, he was like a proper character.
Yeah,
Now
they just shot
he's-
his character down and
now
he's become a
just
punching
like,
bag.
Yeah, like he
I
doesn't
have-
even dress the same either. Like where's his long like leather jacket? He's
Yeah,
got
but the
short
leather
ones
jacket,
now.
yeah, it's the shirt.
Yeah.
He still wears the shirt, but like the leather jacket was always over it. But Martin definitely R.I.P. He was a legacy character.
If Stacey falls in love again up on the square, she should like move away.
Yeah,
because it never
because-
works out.
Nah, and it's the fact that Martin was the firstborn on the show, and you killed the firstborn of EastEnders. It's never
Yeah.
going to be the same again. It's never
And, like
gonna
we've
be
not
the
got loads of foulers left
same.
anyway.
And you know what? This whole beef, I don't like the fact that they ruined Stacey and Ruby's friendship, because they were best friends back in the day. They literally were joined to the hip, and all of a sudden now they're enemies.
Ruby's nasty.
She is, because why did you have to take Stacey's man in the first place?
Literally.
Yeah, like cool, you Stacey and Martin broke up way before, but that's not your man to touch.
Yeah, do you know what? Even though I don't like her, I do feel a bit bad for her when mine did die because she's a bit delusional. Like she thought he loved her, so obviously she's gonna make a big thing out.
Yeah, that, and
You know.
the big thing about her now, she's controlling.
Yeah,
Does she control the funeral? Why is she taking over the funeral?
Yeah.
Martin, he deserves to be getting the best treatment of all time.
Yeah,
He's supposed to be getting everybody involved.
she knows
Like-
nothing about him as well. Get Lily
Yeah.
to do it. Get Bex to do it. Who are you to be doing
Hell,
it?
like you're irrelevant to him. You had a child together, but
Yeah.
like he don't want you.
Thing is, when Ruby came back, I sort of had a feeling that mine was gonna die. So I was like, why are they bringing her back? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she's got no other people on the square.
I mean, I only feel like she only brought her back because obviously the show that she had a child with Martin and now it's left impact.
Why are they bringing kids everywhere in every story? And there's so many kids everywhere, left, right, and center. Like, why do they have a kid together? I don't understand.
And then it's like at the same time now you're left with this kid, and then he's in the whole facade of all this drama.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like when kids are exposed to that type of stuff. Do you know, speaking of kids, I want to just bring up one random thing. Oscar Branning, what happened to him?
He could actually come back. He's at 18 now. He has to
Yeah.
come back.
He has to come on his own because he's
Yeah.
only made cameo appearances.
But you know how Lauren and Pia are now getting married? That's a perfect opportunity to bring the Brannings back. Even if it's for a few episodes, bring them back. Max, Tanya.
Because they did that with Morgan when Whitney was getting married
Yeah,
to Lee.
exactly.
What happened to Morgan?
Don't know what happened to him. He just like disappeared somewhere. I don't know.
He's not even
You know,
on the internet.
what's his name? Heather Trott.
Yeah.
Her son. I think.
George Michael.
Yeah. When he's a bit older, when Ben's back on the square, bring her son back for
Ooh,
revenge.
Ben and George come back.
Yeah.
That could be a good twist, like they did with Lauren and Penny.
Yeah.
Because I didn't even think Lauren and Penny were even close like that.
Yeah, but Penny's a bit of a weirdo though. She's like, sometimes she's like alright, but then sometimes she does weird stuff and you're like why are you moving like that?
Yeah.
Because why did she have beef with her? Actually, it's Jack Branning. Why
Yeah.
did she have beef with him? But why was she trying to like, I don't know, get him fired or something when she was with Harry? I don't understand that.
No,
No.
I don't understand. But I mean, again, that's because Jack had the problem with that was he was the reason why she got paralyzed on the waist down.
That is actually mad though, if you think about
Imagine
it.
your parent is the reason why you're disabled. That's really upsetting.
I was just like deep in that property. That's actually mad. Like, did you
Yeah.
like even have to do time for that, or like?
No,
nothing? You
because
just got away with it.
I think, but how I don't understand. I don't think that I remember how that was done.
I don't know. I think like Penny just turned up out of nowhere, and then they were like, I don't know. She was just in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I don't think there was a big revelation. I think they just said like she was the reason.
No, I don't know. It's a weird one, really.
Yeah.
It was the
No.
How is it?
But with Penny, you know the actress who played her when she was a kid,
Yeah.
Mia McKenna-Bruce.
Yeah.
Because I know her from like Dumping Ground, like T.
Yeah.
You know, T and Johnny guys. But yeah, because when they said they were bringing Penny back, I was kind of hoping they'd bring her back.
Yeah.
I don't really like her as an actress.
But I mean, I didn't mind the recast, but again, it's like it doesn't hit the same.
I feel like there's way too many characters on the show right now, though. Because
lot,
they
a
get
lot.
rid of Felix, which is good.
I said this the other day, thank God, only because he's not really serving any purpose on the show.
He's not, yeah.
He's literally just, he's only there for value of
And this is what
gay.
This is what I mean as well. Like years ago, you'd get a character, they'd be on the show for like 6 months. Their impact, you can still feel it today, like Danielle, for
Yeah.
example. Felix has been on there for what, 2 years?
And he's literally just been a background character.
Literally.
Even his brother Finley had more purpose than bloody
Yeah.
Felix.
Like,
and he had to bloody
I do
leave.
feel bad for the actor, but at the same time, like, I don't know, like, can't you like go have a word with the producers and be like, listen, give me a storyline?
Yeah.
Like,
I would have just been like, yeah, give me some more interesting storyline. Probably the same way that I did with Bernie, because she was a background character, just like little girl with the cafe.
Is Bernie's time to go?
Yeah.
Is actually
No,
her
but
time to go.
obviously, yeah, she is. Now it's her time to go, but at least she served a bit of purpose when confronting Linda.
But what I don't
That
get
was when
is-
she was in her good era.
What I don't get is, if you know that your brother's been murdered by these people, how are you staying in the same place? I get if you don't say anything to the police, because obviously it's their families and everything, but how are you serving them tea in the cab? How?
No, for real, because if anyone killed my sister or brother, I wouldn't be
Like,
any
I'm not
feet near them.
I'm not serving you nothing.
I would quit. I wouldn't
Literally,
even work
like,
in the same place.
she actually needs to go, but I don't get, didn't they make her like, what's that thing where they made her some, like in control of like Avani and Nugget's money?
Oh yeah, she's in control of their money until they're 18.
So-
she's the legal guardian. She's the legal guardian of the legal money.
I don't know what the name of it
Something
is,
like
but
that.
something,
But
yeah.
she's looking after. She's the parental guide for looking after their money.
She better not be until they're 18. I can't take another 3 more years of
Nah.
No
Unless
way.
they actually give us something a bit more interesting.
Or swap Bernie for Keegan.
Yeah.
Bring Keegan and Tiff back, but then take Bernie away.
Yeah, probably. Maybe. But we do have to wrap up, unfortunately.
That is fine.
But yeah, obviously I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Obviously if you did watch this, because EastEnders is a good way to get you guys into action, kicking
Yes.
off.
And you'll know about it as well because of one phrase, you ain't my mother, yes I am.
Yes.
You'll know it from
You're
that.
not my mother.
Yes, I am. That's
Or
how
what was the
sick the
one?
show is.
My son is in the kitchen
Eating
eating a biscuit.
Or while you're sitting around waiting,
Doing this.
I was out making
that
moves.
was
Like me.
you know it. But yeah, do feel free to comment any questions or anything that you would like to relate to on the topic. Comment your favorite one-liners as well. We're definitely going to be doing a bit more EastEnders content in the future, but don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you're watching this on YouTube. I'm also available to listen on Spotify, and I'm also on Instagram, so you can catch me on there. But thank you for being on here today.
Thank you for
Hashim.
having me.
And yeah, definitely going to be doing a lot more of these content and stuff like this,
Yeah.
because probably one person or more. But let's
That'll be
see.
good, yeah.
But
If you
until
guys
next
enjoyed as well.
time, peace out.
See you guys later.
Feel free to subscribe to keep up to date with the latest episodes.